Okay, garden friends, I'm going to sow the sweet pea seeds that I soaked. This one, these are the colors watermelon. I meant to grab the package. I'll put a picture of it up. But I soaked the seeds. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds in here. And I had thought about sowing them in these. But then again, I know another way I could do it that is just as wonderful and they have time to grow well, is to put 3 in a size pot like this. And because they like the cool, they will do fine here in the greenhouse, even though it's freezing and you can see my breath. But yeah, that way when I pop them out, I could even put them in the pot in the ground to protect them from the gophers if I wanted to, because their roots will come down through the holes and go down in the ground and be fine, but be protected. And so I wouldn't disturb them. But I could also pop them out of the pot, put the soil in the ground, and they can grow from there. I grew Royal Wedding last year on my arbors in Rose Alley, and they did beautiful. And the gophers didn't bother them this time. So we can do that. So first of all, soak the seeds for 24 hours. Then mix up your seed starting mix. I do not use dedicated seed starting mix. I'll use potting soil. I'll loosen it with some perlite. This needs some perlite. This one is the organic, I always forget, Miracle Grow organic. I'm not a big fan of coconut coir in my seed starting mix, only because it holds too much moisture to my mind. I usually use my compost, but I can't get to it. There's 5 feet of snow out there. And this is the first time in almost a week that I've been able to get out here because of the heavy snowfall and all the disastrous stuff going on here on the mountain. But today I was determined to get out here and just enjoy, especially with the sun hitting the greenhouse, what's left of it. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy. Looks like these got knocked over when the tree hit the front of the greenhouse. Okay, I put some perlite in here with, this is the organic Miracle Grow that I got at Costco. I'm trying it out. It's okay. So far, I started some seeds, some petunias, and some, I'm seeing other things that fell over. I haven't had a time to really take a good look around, and my heater went out after I lit it. But unfortunately, the sun is warming it up. Seems like everything's against me to get this video done. But growing sweet peas is super easy. I have a couple of blog posts all about it. I have one about why they love being grown in cold temperatures, get started in cold. And I have just a basic how to grow sweet peas. You do not have to have taller pots to grow them, to get them started. I have grown them in smaller pots. Oh, I hear the plows out there, so if it's extra noisy, please forgive it. This is a 4-inch pot, but it's shorter. You see, I've grown them in these, but I've also grown them in very short pots and done fine. So if all you have are these smaller pots, they work. It's just that the roots don't get to grow as long. They'll start to go around sooner, but that's okay. Once you put them in the ground, they catch right up. And many times I will plant them directly in the ground. Those do just as well, if not better, than the ones I start indoors to put out. And I can sow them in the fall, and many times they come back in the spring. Or come up in the spring, very, very early. So, you know, it's a catch-22. You decide if you want to start them indoors, if you want to go ahead and start them outdoors, that works too. Sometimes just starting them right in the ground is the easiest way possible. Now, when I lived in a zone 9 and we had very warmish winters, I would plant a bunch out in fall, and early spring, we'd have them by April, blooming away, and early May. And so that was wonderful. And that's because it really would heat up fast there, because you could have 90s in May. So that was when you could grow them. And I didn't start any ever indoors. It just was pointless living in that climate. But here, it's different. So this is Peat Soil and Plant Enhancer. I just did a video where I showed you where I was starting seeds in some soil that did not have this and some that did. And I was going to show the results. Fortunately, I think they're bringing the blower through the alley. Anyways, that's right behind my studio. So I may have to, not my studio, but my greenhouse. That tree that fell, it fell right across my back garden. I don't know what my circle garden looks like, the raised beds or anything. They might have got completely smashed. But it missed my studio cottage. I mean, barely missed it. I'm so thankful that we didn't have much worse damage. So even though I had to really get through the emotions of my greenhouse being damaged, I act like I'm really doing well with all of this damage. But I had a chance to go through the emotions. You know what? It's not all hunky-dory and happy-dappy. I had to go through the emotions. So don't think that I could just tough it out. I'm only saying that. I'm not a negative Nelly, but I want others to know that it's okay to go through those emotions and that, you know, I wouldn't say despair, but you know what I mean. You just get it done, my greenhouse done, I just got moved in, I'm just now getting to use it, and then a tree falls on it. And it took us a while to be able to shovel out here to see whether or not it had sustained major damage. So I was in fear for a while. Okay, that being said, now I only have one of these taller pots in here. And so right now I can't get to the area that has the others. So I'm just gonna have to make do. I'm gonna pot up 3 of the sweet pea seeds in here. And then the others, I'll go ahead and individually pot up in these. So that's how we're gonna go. How we're gonna make this fly. Now I can just pour off the water. I'm just going to pour it down in here. And then take the seeds out. I'm just going to put them out on the counter here. And make sure they don't roll away. And then I'm going to fill this pot. There's no rocket science to this whatsoever. Now this soil, potting soil, this organic Miracle-Gro, it does have some wood chips in it, but I'm not too worried about it. With the soil enhancer, and then once the sweet peas get going, then I will feed them, and it will offset any maybe nitrogen deficiency that this may have. So I'm not worried about it. So I'm going to put 3 in. 1, I'm going to put them in the opposite corners. 2, and then 3. So they're far apart. And then I'll cover with about 1/2 inch of soil. Now, in a prior video, I have showed you, was it a video or a blog post, where I had a seed had landed on top of another container, like this one back here, and it started to sprout right on top of that soil just because of the moisture in the air. So that just shows you how easy they can really be. Now, I'm firming this down so that has good contact with the soil. I will put this in a dish like this, and I will let it draw up from the bottom, the moisture. So we'll do the same. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Now with these, I could put 2 in 1 and be perfectly content. Okay, I got, 1 is gonna get a single. Now this, I had planted some of these last year, so that's why I didn't have a big amount of these seeds to plant. So that one has 2, this one will have 1. And I have some more royal wedding seeds in the house, which I will soak to get planted up, because you know what? I can this time of year. It's perfect. This is the end of February. We finally get winter in a big way at the end of February. And then this next week, we're supposed to get into the 60s. In fact, today is supposed to get up like to 55. It's crazy weather. Go from freezing and heavy snow. We got like 5 feet of snow. A lot of damage was from the wet snow getting in the tops of the trees and it snapping trees off. That's what this tree that hit my greenhouse, it was the top of a pine, a huge pine that's right outside. And it just snapped off and fell down. If the whole tree would have come down, we would have been even in more trouble. But that's the ice falling out of the trees above that you hear hitting. Okay, so I do have some water here. I'm gonna fill this tray. May not be able to see it. I've tried to get you in the camera, or in the view, but I filled this tray. This will absorb from the bottom. I don't ever pour through the top. It is unnecessary. It will draw up and fully soak all of the soil within the container. Now, if I would have just poured it through the top, I don't know if it completely soaks, because it could partially soak the soil, not completely. So that will be fine. And then once it's drawn it all up, I'll take it out of the water, drain it, and set them aside in here. I will also mark my containers, because if you do a lot of seed starting, like I do, you tend to forget what's in what pot. So I'm just going to put watermelon sweet, because I don't want to think I planted a watermelon in there. I recognize the seedlings when they come up, so I'm just going to put watermelon on those. And growing sweet peas is super, super simple. Let me get this on here while I'm thinking about it. When they germinate and come up, I'll keep them in here. They will, once they get probably 4 inches tall, I will pinch them back, and that way they'll send out 2 more shoots, and that way you'll get many more sweet peas that way. And it's not like you have to do that. It's just a way to get them to thicken up. Well, so like the Royal Weddings, which is a pure white that I had growing out in an arbor by one of my roses, I didn't pinch it back. I just let it go do its thing naturally. And it was beautiful. It put out lots of blooms. It bloomed all summer long for me. We have cool nights usually in the summer, so that makes it where sweet peas will continue to bloom for me through the entire summer. It's not like just in the spring or when it's cooler. And they put up with some 90-degree temperatures, but being on the north side, yes, the north side of the arbor, it was shaded from the rows, so it was protected from direct sun, but also we get the cool nights, which is really important for sweet peas to continue performing through the summer, whereas some places that are even a lower zone than I am, they will stop blooming because of the heat and because they stay hot through the night, whereas we, thankfully, that's one of the blessings of living here, it cools down at night, and that's great. So pinching back, and I do have a video, and I'll link it, on pinching back sweet peas. And yeah, when it's time to plant these out, I will take you along. And you know what? With redoing the whole back garden, I'm not even sure where I'm going to put these yet, but that's okay. We will find a spot. And my gomphrena, that gomphrena took off like crazy. It's kind of getting, leggy, because it's not had the lights on it for a week. So they're reaching for the sun. There was nothing I could do about that, but it isn't the end of the world. It's just not ideal, but it's not like it's a big loss. It's not like they're not going to perform for me because they get a little leggy at the beginning. So that's all okay. So this one was a little dry, so I'm going to put here in the water too. So that is planting up sweet peas to get them started in late February. And I will, as I said, take you along when I plant them out, see how they bloom all summer long. I'll also share with you the ones that I planted in front of the chicken pen, how well they do. I'm also going to put a climbing zucchini there to climb up and over the pen. So that's the plan. We'll see how this all works out. Also, I was contacted by a company that has a software for designing gardens and wanted to know if I wanted to try it out and do a video on it. Well, now I have my entire back garden named the Secret Cottage Garden that I'm going to have to redo portions of. So I think that's going to be perfect. And I will learn the software and I'll let you know what I think about it. All right. I wish you happy sweet pea planting. As it warms up out here, there's a big limb right there laying on the roof. And I'll see what's going on. I will also upcoming share with you, I have the petunias that are just barely sprouting. I have some snapdragons and my white geraniums have germinated and all of the good things. So one more thing I was going to share, some glass painting I've been doing. I've been trying to get back into some painting, and while the internet power was off, I could paint, and I was inspired to do some spring daffodils, hyacinths, like flowers on some glass. I was practicing, so I'll share that with you right now. I'll show you the little video clip I took of how it turned out with a little bee. I practiced on recycled jars, so it's kind of like, it doesn't matter if I totally flubbed it up, I could just toss it, but they turned out. So I'm going to share that with you guys. So I'll see you in my next video.